Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another knitting content for you. I knitted this sweater. So this sweater is called a raglan sweater, and so it is knitted entirely in one piece, so there's no sewing involved or no seaming together different parts like the sleeves to the body. It's all done in one. So you sort of start up at the top with a neckline and you knit that up until you get to the point where it's sort of by your armpits, and then you tie off your sleeves so that you can work on your body, and then you come back to the sleeves at the end. And I was able to do this with the help of Sheep and Stitch, a YouTube channel, Davina. She is incredible. This is not going to be a tutorial video because I don't know that I want to teach knitting or that I do a great job of it, but just gonna be walking through my process. If you want a really good teacher, check out Davina at Sheep and Stitch. You can also check out RJ Knits, is really good on YouTube. Okay, let's get started. Okay, it is day one of my knitting a sweater project. I printed off my pattern. So I'm gonna get started on the video tutorial. I'm guessing I won't even need to be knitting for a while because she's going to be explaining things, and we're gonna something about gauge, which I've been knitting for a few months and I still haven't looked into what gauge is. So here's me knitting my gauge. A gauge swatch is something that you knit to test your materials against the patterns, and that's especially when you're knitting clothing, because you wouldn't want to use a yarn and a needle that gives you too small or too big of a gauge when you're knitting, say, a sweater, because if you end up knitting the whole thing and it's the wrong gauge, you could be trying to knit a small and you come out with an extra large sweater. Oh my God. And then you'll also see me dunking this in water. I talk about blocking later in the video, but essentially you're gonna wanna wash your sweater, and sometimes it can shrink or it can just do different things to the fabric. So you wanna just test how your fabric or your gauge swatch does in water. So I dunked it in water, and then you kind of press out the water and you let it dry, and then you can measure your stitches wide and up and down, across and up and down. Okay, good. So sweater update. I'm measuring my gauge and I meet the gauge of the 16 stitches across. Unfortunately though, it calls for 24 stitches, 24 rows, and I have 20. So I'm gonna try to figure out what you have to do if your stitch is correct, but not the row. Alright guys, so what I did was decrease my needle size. So I ordered a pair of circular needles, 29 inches and 4.5 millimeters from Amazon, because the first time I did it, I was using 5.0 millimeters. And that gave me the correct gauge. So now we're moving on to the actual knitting of the sweater. So the first thing you do is you kind of knit the top area near the collar, and you kind of keep knitting until you're gonna start the sleeves and the body. So it starts off and it looks pretty weird, but it gets better. So right now I'm still on the first part of my sweater. It's looking like this. It seems to mean something by doing this. And right now I'm just knitting around and around a couple of times before I do something more exciting, so. Okay, so fun times is right now I am just finishing up this top part of the sweater, like essentially this part on the top there. But I've counted around and I'm about 2 stitches short. So I want to make sure that I put those in the correct section, because I have 4 to 5 stitch markers, so I have to make sure they go in the same spot so that I have enough for the sleeves and for the body and stuff. So I'm doing some math, and oh my lord, I was not prepared for this. Yeah, so what I'm basically doing is finding out how many should be in each section, but I'm gonna have to go through and count round by round of all the rounds that I've done. So even just this part was 9 rounds, and then these were rounds, and so I'm trying to figure it out. So okay, my best guess was actually correct mathematically. So note to self, I could do my best guess next time, or I could spend all this time doing algebra. Back, it is January 27th. There are over 230 stitches on these needles, for one thing. So you know that it's coming along. So this is gonna be like the top. This is where my head would go. I don't know if this is appropriate. I don't know if I should be doing this, but you know, the head's gonna go down there, and then they're gonna be the arms. So where you see this part, it's gonna become the arm and the other arm and then the back and the body. So I'm just gonna keep knitting away. Hey everybody, I'm so excited to announce that I'm next, on the next part of my sweater, which is to take off the sleeve stitches and then just start working on the body for like almost 12 inches. So I'm very excited that I've made it this far, to be honest. So what I'm gonna do though is listen to the video and see how to move the stitches onto a scrap yarn. Scrap yarn. Don't know if other people have this problem, but I always find like my own hair in my stitches. Sometimes I just like to think about the fact that someone literally created the motion of knitting and the motion of crocheting. Like, seriously, you came up with this? Like, you were just messing around with some yarn and you're like, let's do it like this, and let's use like some object to like aid in the doing of the said activity. That mind boggles me that someone came up with this. Like, yeah, cool that I get to watch someone who's watched someone who's watched someone who's learned from someone who's learned from someone, but like, think about the very first. I'm very amazed by, oh my god, I can't believe that this is gonna be a legit sweater that I wear. Look at it, it's looking really good. You add ribbing to the neckline, so if that looks a little goofy, it's because it's not done yet. But here's where each of the sleeves are, here and here, and then here's the body, which I'll work on next. But oh my god, I can't believe this. Didn't think I'd actually, you know, be able to do this. Wow, holy crap. Sweater update. I am working on my sweater today. My new needles that are smaller came in, so as soon as I'm done knitting the body and want to start the rib, I can do so. Okay, here is how my sweater is looking. Obviously I still have to do the sleeves and the neck, but here's how much of the body I've done. And I'm actually gonna try this on, question mark. First of all, I'm going to see how it compares to just like the sweatshirt I was wearing, which is a little bit on the, it's not cropped, but it's on the more cropped side. So say I put this on top of the sweater. Okay, it looks like I still have quite a few inches to go here before it even gets to this like cropped version, and then I'll do the ribbed. Okay, so here's the sweater on. It's about yay long. It goes a little bit past my belly button, which I think is perfect, and then I'll do the ribbing to finish it off. And then of course I have to do the sleeves like I say every time, but I'm loving it so far. It definitely fits and is the right size. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going and then that'll be my sweater. Okay, I am moving on to my third skein of yarn. I'm hoping that this will do just the rest of the body ribbing at the bottom, the neck pickup stitches, and the sleeves. If it doesn't, I will have to go find this yarn. But anyway, here I am finishing up the ribbing on the end of the body. Okay, I'm going to give a really brief sweater update because I was not in a state to do so 2 nights ago when I tried to start my sleeve, but I realized that with raglan sleeves, you're going to have holes, 2 holes in each underarm, and that I was not expecting. Undid all of that, and then now what I'm going to do is do my sleeves normally, expect that there are going to be 2 holes in each underarm. While I'm in the middle of this round, let me show you all my sleeves so far. Looks like this. So it's really coming along. I just have a bit more of this sleeve to do. Okay, so fun fact. I almost had the perfect amount of yarn except for just a few rounds on the collar of ribbing around the neck. So I did have to buy another skein of yarn and then use like almost none of it. I've been trying to cut back on the vlogging just because I feel like this knitting vlog is getting super long. But I did want to share that I've tied in all my ends, finished my sleeves, and the only thing I have left to do is the neckline. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But yeah, I think this might be harder than I think it'll be. You gotta pick these up and then I think do a rib here. So I'm almost done. Okay, in this clip, I filmed myself putting on the sweater, and you can see my reaction here. Hey guys, welcome to my video. That's my sweater. I'm trying it on for the first time with a light on. Here it is. I know.
The big reveal. Oh my god, it looks great.
Thank you.
Holy.
Okay, and here's for the final part of the whole sweater where everything comes together. So the sweater's knit and it's all good to go, but you do want to block and shape your sweater. So blocking it means you dunk it in water and then you can shape it or kind of mold it. The fabric will get nicer, ? And so that's why you do this. So what I did is I filled up a sink of water. Fun fact, you do want to fill it up like maybe halfway. I only filled it up just so that it sort of topped the top of the sweater. The problem with that is it's just going to go ahead and absorb all of the water. So when you come back to your sink, it's just going to be your sweater soaked in water. No additional water remaining. So you're going to want to fill it up more than that. And then let it sit there for like 15 minutes. And then what I did is I tried to get the excess water out, and then I could use the measurements from the pattern and just make sure that things were similar. You can kind of mold, sort of the armpit area. Like if it's too saggy, you can bring up the fabric and then it'll dry in that way. So I didn't really do much, honestly. I just hoped for the best. And then arguably the hardest part of the whole sweater is waiting for it to dry. So it takes a good day or more to be able for the sweater to actually dry. And it's possible I didn't get enough water out ahead of time before letting it air dry. But yeah, so I waited for it to air dry, and then I'm going to show you some clips of it on, which you've already seen, but that is the entirety of the process. I'm sort of an enterprising individual in some ways, and my mindset is kind of like, if I can do it, I can sell it, which I don't love. But I don't think I would knit a sweater for someone unless you're paying me maybe $200 an hour, $250 maybe, $250 an hour. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like so I know. Thanks. Bye-bye.